Kasacha ye necessary. Utumi no abasan hu ye mobo. May mfi ya abra ye di nkonimdi kofi. Jesus Christ edimu. Amen. IPEC. Ade komedo. IPEC. Bible sumini Yesuya honhom na tenka kwa me fa so ate honhom nenka ana ne nti a wonte honhom nenka ma church wa amen. Na obibeka se yedi Yesu echi Yesu na yedi na echi no no kan ne sen ana sen no no kra wo ye na ankoba so bosiremu kan bi ana se obi na na ye na yi bi na mako 5 free Bible ne mfe ba bi na mo de be dada yini na ye Christopher yini na di Yesu echi sen na Christo kan ye sen na Yesu kan se yenye no na obi pese wote honhom ne nka na wemfiri honhom ne nchen amfom ankoye bone ankopira die na Christo so wonye. Amen. Amen. And I'm teaching you this morning Jesus' model of sensitivity to the Spirit. Jesus' model of sensitivity to the Spirit. We are now probably next week. I call at the full frost. So you will have some for fruit. So we be seeing. We may not be because we would have na pia. I call na for hako. No banning comes. Banning century. Ni na ye nenso. Wango tina sema anyo bibi biara oyo. Tina sema. Why? So we tia the beye juma. Amen. Christo ne kwa ofa so kire ye kwanya yen ye be fa so ate ne honhom enka. Jesus' model of sensitivity to the Spirit. Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10. We will be looking at some verses which are very important to our discussion. But the whole of Matthew chapter 10 will teach you a lot. But we want to glean his model for us to be sensitive to his Spirit. So we look at verse 1. We will look at verse 5 to 6. We will look at verse 9 to 10. 16 to 17. And we will end at 34 to 36. Matthew chapter 10, verse 1, verse 5 to 6, verse 9 to 10, 16 to 17, 34 to 36. When we read this, we will realize how Jesus wants us to be sensitive to the Spirit and the way we can do it and do it perfectly. And this will be broken into 4 sessions. Verse 1 will just tell us the kind of power Jesus has given to every believer or anyone who is sent by God. This is Jesus who is still in his ministry and had not as yet handed the ministry over to his disciples. I should say the disciples were still under training. But verse 1 says, and he And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, and to heal all manner of diseases and all manner of sickness. All manner of sickness and all manner of disease. Now, this is the power and the definition of the power. What the power was to do specifically. Specifically, what they were supposed to do was defined by verse 1. They were giving power against unclean spirits. So they were not giving power against clean spirits, unclean spirits. And power to cast out those unclean spirits, against them, and to cast them out. That is number 2. Number 3, to heal. It doesn't matter the nature of the sickness. They had that power over all. All. The Bible uses all. Whether spiritual or physical, all. Whether it has cure medically or not, all. Whether it has a name or not, all. This is the definition of the power that was given to them. Okay. Now this is Jesus sending his disciples out, and has given them this kind of power. This kind of power. So the power given to them was defined, so that they will not go and be doing something outside the periphery and the definition and the limitations of that power. The confinement of that power. It was vivid, it was clear, it was conspicuous to them that this is what the power is supposed to do. Power against unclean spirits. That's number 1. Power to cast unclean spirits. Number 2, power to heal all sicknesses and all diseases. So 3. So the first thing Jesus, after giving them the power, wanted them to know and to do so as to be sensitive to the spirit was that they were to know their limit of power in the spirit. If you always want to be sensitive to the spirit, know your limit in the spirit. But there are rankings, there are ranks and files in the realm of the spirit. Spiritually, we are all sons and daughters of God. But the graces given to us are not equal. The giftings bestowed upon us are not the same. You have to be careful. Jesus wants us to know our limit of power in the spirit. If you know your limit, you are sensitive to the spirit. Know your limit. That is found in verse 5 and verse 6. Know your limit. If you know your limit of power, you will not misbehave. You will always be sensitive to the spirit. These 12 Jesus sent forth. We've heard in verse 1 that he called 12 and gave them power. But these 12, he did not just call them, he sent them forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles. Go not. So here Jesus is telling them the do's and the don'ts. Go not into the way of the Gentiles and into any city of the Samaritans. Enter ye not. Limitations. I've given you power upon all sickness and all disease. but not in any place and in every place. The do's and the don'ts. Your limitations are these. Your limits are these. Do not go to the cities of the Gentiles. Do not go to the cities of the Samaritans. Where then should we go? We've seen the don't. Let's look at the do's. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. In other words, they were to stay in Jerusalem. They were to stay in Jerusalem. When you read all chapter 10 and you finish, chapter 11 verse 1, the Bible says after Jesus has sent them, Jesus personally went to their own cities. Hello. After Jesus had finished sending them and giving them the instructions, Jesus himself went to the cities of each of the 12. See? And it came to pass when Jesus had made an end of commanding his 12 disciples, he departed thence to teach and to preach in their cities. Wow. Why? Anytime you are sent on an errand by God, your city, your hometown comes after your life. Am I talking to somebody? You can't just wake up and say, I'm a man of God, I'm a woman of God, I'm a Christian. No, when God sends you on an errand, the devil is after you. And they start from your root. That is your hometown. So Jesus, after sending them to go and do that for him, he personally went to their cities, one after the other, to preserve them. Know your limit. They said the Edikan is all small. No, be small, momo to me. Ahomo de be sorieti ahomone de Edikan. Omo de be tutu ahomone de to so me no. No de asan yarewa ne ahomere ni na de to so me nsa. De odi ma omo ani. Nti me say, hunu baby o ahoden kopem. Enkoye suatra nkopira. Hunu ahoden nti chemu num ni chemu nsia no. Ose munhwe yie na manko amanaman mufuo mu. Na Samaria for so mamonko omumu. Verse say na mom Israel nwenko na ayira no. E na monko omho. That is how to train someone. You train from the known to the unknown. O chira akra de na o sha se de den mana ubu na ba mu nsua biem. O de